What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? I present to you the refreshed Audi Q8 2024, that is. And today we're going to take this for a test drive, kind of put it through its paces and see what it's like to drive. So yes, the Q8 is refreshed for the 2024 model year. Most of the new updates are on the outside. So we have a new grille, new headlights, new 22-inch wheels on this particular one. And this one is a premium plus trim with the black optic package, executive package, all kinds of goodies. And we have an $84,940 MSRP on this vehicle. But what a great looking vehicle. I've always loved the style and presence of the Q8. A little bit more revisions back here with a new LED light bar. We have the new Audi rings, and look at that, real exhaust tips on a Audi that's not an S or an RS model. So we'll do a quick overview before we get on the drive. Let's take a look at the trunk, which is always huge in the Q8. A couple of things back here, accessories and whatnot. So if you hear any rattling around on a test drive, that's what that is. But yeah, tons of storage. You could fold down the rear seats if you need. We have electronic door handles on the Q8, sunshades too, and as you can see, move over my camera and everything, very nice amount of room back here for really an adult of any size. You have two controls too back here, so you can adjust not only your side but the passenger side. Full climate control back here, so 4-zone climate control in this car, and a nice panoramic roof. Super solid doors, even though they are frameless. So frameless doors, as you could see when you open up the door, the windows down, you don't have any frame there, so that's pretty cool. And what do you say we hop in and take this for a drive? Now, I'm praying to God that my GoPro does not overheat on this test drive because it's a little bit warm today. So we're gonna pull up the windows, close up the shade for the roof, and we'll get some AC going here. Now, a little bit about this test drive. We are going to take it out on a more of a main road so we can kind of feel what it's like at some higher speeds, you know, 45, 50 miles an hour. Then we'll get it out on a back road. We'll do an acceleration test, see how this 3-liter V6 under the hood does acceleration-wise. And the remainder of the video will be on that back road. So, pretty bumpy road, not paved that nice. And we'll get a suspension test. We'll see what kind of noise levels we're working with, and it'll be a pretty fun and educational drive. Now I'm going to pull up our drive mode selector so we can kind of bounce back and forth between a couple of driving modes. We're going to start off in comfort. We've got our seatbelt on, safety first, and let's pop it into drive. Now, I've always been a really big fan of the Q8. It's just, it's got great proportions. It's not too big, not too small. It's got plenty of room for 5 adults if you need to go on a long trip, and all of their cargo space. So it's just a greatly packaged car. You know, it's not cheap. Obviously, this one's up at $85,000, but it definitely is a solid car. And with these few couple of updates that Audi has done for the 24 model year, it makes it that much more appealing. Now I'm going to shut off the auto start stop. Even though it is a great system, it is a mild hybrid turbocharged V6 under the hood, which means it really doesn't take, it takes less than a split second for the car to start up once it's on the auto start stop, but we're going to turn it off anyways. So and yeah, just setting off on our main road here. Hopefully we'll get it up to 45, 50 miles an hour. As you can see, we do have a new driver's information display, which we have in the likes of the A8 A6, Q7, and now the Q8. So it looks very nice. It can tell you where all the curves are on the road. It can tell you there's a truck in front of us, and it also will kind of display the lines and your lane keeping assist. So that's pretty cool. Lower down the air conditioning just for a minute. As you can hear, it's supremely quiet in here. Frameless windows usually make it a little bit louder, but it's actually double pane glass with an acoustic material in the center, so very, very quiet ride. You can barely hear the oncoming traffic. You can barely hear the engine. It's a very quiet V6. It only lets you know you're there with wide open throttle and a little bit of tire noise. We have some pretty large tires, a 285 section tires and 22-inch wheels, so we do have a little bit of tire noise coming in, but that's really the only thing you hear. This road here is going to be the beginning of our back road, and we'll start with our acceleration test. We'll put it into dynamic mode. Let's see if there's anybody behind us, and we'll get in a 0 to 60 test. So what I'm going to do is just mash the throttle, and we'll see how fast we can get up to speed. And quick brake test. Yeah, so no problems at all with this 3-liter turbocharged V6 under the hood. Produces 335 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, so pretty healthy numbers for this V6. And again, it is a mild hybrid, so you get that little extra punch, a couple of horsepower there from the mild hybrid component there. But yeah, no complaints as far as acceleration goes. This is plenty of power for merging on the highway or even passing power and things like that. We are working with an 8-speed conventional transmission, so torque converter transmission here, which shifts nice and fast, and of course quattro all-wheel drive is standard on every Q8. So it looks like they repaved this segment of the road here. Kind of hoping that it's not for the full amount here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this road, as I remember, is pretty rough. That's why I selected this road, so we can kind of see how it rides. Now we're going to put it back into comfort, and when you put it back into comfort, you can immediately notice that this does have an adaptive suspension setup, because it's a lot more comfortable over the potholes than in dynamic mode, so that's pretty nice. It is actually very comfortable in comfort. So yes, very good suspension setup, even though we have these large 22-inch wheels. Now I'm going to put it back into dynamic because we have a nice S-turn coming up here. I'm going to see how it does through the turns. Nothing crazy, but just to get a feel on how it takes the corners. Yeah, it actually corners quite flat. That's pretty impressive. This is a large vehicle. It weighs quite a bit, but it takes the corners just fine. I could see how this could be actually a little bit of fun, taking the corners. And here we go, my first sighting of the new Camry in person. What are the chances of that? First time I've seen the new design for the Camry in person on our test drive. You never know what to expect with the Ty Drives test drives here. Now, if you are interested in seeing a full features review of this entire car, so all the features on the outside, under the hood, trunk space, rear space, and all the technology here, I have filmed a completely dedicated video on that, on this very Q8. So at the end of the video, you'll see a little link for that pop up in the corner there, so you could press that at the end of this video to see the features review, or you could just head over to my channel Tie Drives for all of the rest of the videos that I have and vehicles that I've filmed. Switch it back over to comfort. It is pretty amazing the difference between comfort and dynamic. You can really feel the adjustment in the suspension there. Even just the road feel itself, you know, not going over any bumps or anything. The smoothness is instant. Now, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of changes on the interior of this updated Q8, except for this driver's information display, which is pretty cool. And then you also have built-in Alexa and a new home screen, so that's pretty nice. A couple of tidbits there that are new in the interior. A couple of other things too between the comfort and dynamic that I've noticed. The steering still has a little bit of feel to it in comfort, which is nice. I like that. The Q7s and Q8s have always had that. But once you put it into dynamic, it firms up nice. But overall, I've always been a huge fan of the Q8. I think it's a very nicely packaged and sized vehicle. So I definitely really like this vehicle. Very comfort oriented to drive, and if you want it to be dynamic, you certainly can. But that pretty much does it. Don't forget to check out our features review video here, and thanks a lot for watching.